Here, and that's the center of the circulation now ashore. It did cross near Port Fourchon, and it's working up near Guyana, Louisiana. It's paralleling Highway 1 here up near La Rose, and so that's the center right there, and we're over here. And you may be wondering, hey, you know, Katrina made landfall in pretty much the same spot. Why are we not seeing more intense impacts here? Well, the angle, this thing's going northwest, so it's not tracking in the same direction, and also it's not as large of a storm. It's actually more powerful as far as the maximum sustained winds at landfall, but it's not as large of a wind field that we had during Hurricane Katrina. Another thing I'd like to mention is about the coastal flooding here locally, and we're actually at low tide right now, and so the tide is actually going to go back up around 3 a.m. tonight, and the winds are going to veer more around out of the south, so I would expect that the coastal flooding will begin to increase again, or perhaps even peak higher than where it currently is. Time will tell. All right, so we're getting these rain bands. There is the center of the circulation right there, and of course, you know, Orange Beach looking terrible right now where we're seeing rough surf, but it's a lot worse as you get further over. What's the latest? We're getting hourly updates now from the National Hurricane Center, and we've got this as a 145 mile per hour category 4. It made landfall at 150. The pressure was at 930 at landfall. It's up to 934, and a couple of things are going on. Number one, it's running out of its source of energy. It's over the marsh right now, but it won't be long as it pulls away from Terrebonne Bay here and pushes inland that it'll run out of its source of energy. Also, it will begin to experience some wind shear, and so that will cause Ida to begin to weaken. The other thing that's going on now is we're going through a double eye wall scenario, and so the wind field, while it may be lowering in its intensity, it's going to spread out, so we may see more winds in places further away from the core of the storm where it's been so bad over into Grand Isle. You can see the rain bands we're dealing with. We have two areas under flash flood warnings right now. We've had multiple tornado warnings. Meteorologist Michael White was tracking that for you this morning and around lunchtime, and those may pop back up at any time. These bands on the outer edges of the storm in the northeast quadrant have the spin with height in atmosphere that will help produce, unfortunately, tornadoes out on these outer bands. So we've got to watch out for that threat. And then there's also the flooding threat. So yellow, everything in yellow is under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock. And then everything in this maroon shading here, these are flash flood warnings. We've got one for Pensacola all the way up across and into northern Escambia County. It clips the Perdido River drainage there. And Mobile, downtown Midtown, West Mobile, and out Moffett Road and down to Dog River under a flash flood warning currently. Where are the winds? You may be wondering, especially if you're in town. We're just not seeing that much wind, and we're going to be right on the edge of the tropical storm force wind field in Mobile. This is not going to be a big wind maker for us. It's going to be a really big rainfall maker, and it also will be the potential of a very substantial surge maker for us. Those hurricane force winds are over into Louisiana. That's where it's making landfall. Looking at the rain bands coming in right now, we've got a real heavy band along I-10 lifting up Highway 43. More heavy banding is offshore, and this is going to come and go. We'll have a period of light to moderate rain, and then we'll go back to heavy rain. It's going to come and go throughout the day today, throughout the night tonight, and potentially through the entire day tomorrow on your Monday. And we're already under flash flood warning, so that's not a good situation. With more rain to come tonight and tomorrow, we could easily see a foot of rain in some places before it's all said and done. The severe weather risk is a level 2, so that's that potential for tornadoes showing up in our SPC map. And so far, rainfall totals about 3 to 4 inches. Sometimes the radar estimates underdo it a little when we have tropical systems. We'll have more updates to come here on Ida, and if we see warnings, tornado warnings in our area, we'll come right to you here on Fox 10 News this afternoon.